Hey, happy NFL Sunday.
There
Some
we
of us
go.
stayed up way too late watching the Kansas State game last night. So this is going to be the fastest episode of WagerTalk's Last Call that you've ever heard because we've got a fun-filled NFL slate. We've got John Murray from the WestGate SuperBook coming up. We got Yanni the Greek, gambler, and of course we got Bryan Power from WagerTalk.com. But let's see what John Murray's doing. I thought he was supposed to be in his office so he could give us a look behind the counter, but it would appear that is not the case. Oh, there he is.
No, I am in my office.
I thought you had the pug on the camera. I thought you were coming live from your kitchen.
No, the pug is here in my office. It's bring your guy to work day. I'm trying to teach him about the real world, Kelly. I mean, he can't just leech off me his whole life. You know, he's got to learn.
Very nice. I'm sure he's going to enjoy watching baseball all day in your office. John Murray filling in for the Chase Michelson, who just abandoned us mid-season. So thank you, John, for spending your Sunday morning that is probably supposed to be filled with, moving lines and taking massive bets over there at the WestGate SuperBook. But basically, this segment is a look behind the counter. So I'm going to let you have the floor. And Jags are not invited back to America. What a great comment. And good news is they're not coming back for another straight week if Doug Peterson gets to come back at all.
Well, if I try to use a London game in any of my contests, I need you to get out here and take my phone away from me and make it so that I used Jacksonville +2 in the big contest in Las Vegas this week. I used Jets +2.5 in that same contest last week. What am I doing? Kelly? I don't know what's going on.
We talked about this in our Survivor stuff, John. You literally said, we are not using a London game for Survivor. So why would you use it in any of your pick fives?
Because I'm not smart is the answer to that question. We were never going to use Jacksonville in Survivor. I know you mentioned it, but your viewers should know Kelly mentions every team in the league at one point during the week. So when the results come in on Sunday night, she can say, hey, I told you so. We should have used them. Well, you mentioned every single team. I'm sure at some point you did mention them. Do you want me to I've never seen the show with Chase. You want me to just go through game by game, or you want me to call out some highlights? What do you want me to do?
I would love for you to tell me your biggest needs over there at the SuperBook. I would love for you to tell me any big bets you saw come across. I would love to know if there's any lopsided action. And I would love for our audience there to hit the like button for John, because, again, his time is very valuable. We appreciate him coming on to give us this insight. If you guys have a question for John, you can drop it in the chat. See, they love you already, John Murray.
Look, I would say Washington is a team that we're seeing a lot of support on, guys. I mean, Washington is a very hot team right now. Jaden Daniels looks like he's probably going to be the Rookie of the Year, although my guy, Caleb Williams, is playing awesome football right now. Washington, a very one-sided ticket count. There's a lot of money line parlays with the Ravens. So I can't sit there and say that we don't want Washington to win the game, because that would knock out all these parlays. But the in terms of the point spread, it's very one-sided to Washington. And another game like that, another game that's really one-sided ticket count is Houston. Houston right now -6.5 at New England. We'll need the Patriots. Really, we need all the underdogs. Stop me if I'm a broken record, Kelly. We're going to need Arizona because everybody's on Green Bay. And then the one we're really going to need in the morning is New Orleans. Everybody's on Tampa Bay. They're going against the backup quarterback. Spencer Rattler is in for, I think, what's the guy's name? Jake Hayner came in on Monday night. He didn't really look very good, although that was a tough spot for him. And Rattler's in for Derek Carr today. So we're really going to need those dogs in the morning. Arizona, New England, New Orleans.
I know it's a little over 36 hours away, but how do you think Monday Night Football is shaping up? I use the Jets in a couple of my pick fives, but I don't know if I actually want to bet my hard-earned money on Aaron Rodgers, who looks about how I feel today.
Why do you call them pick fives? Why can't you just say the name of the contest? Is that some sort of
because there's a lot of them? No, it might be a contractual thing. I do a lot of work with the SuperBook and Splash Sports, but There's several contests. You guys have the world famous Super Contest. Splash has a pick 5. Downtown Las Vegas, Circa has their millions. Everything's kind of got their own name, but pick 5 is just a very generic way to say it.
Everything's got their own name, but it's all the same format, basically. Jets +3 was a really sharp side that we saw here at the WestGate. Right now, we're down to +2. I don't know. Look, I don't think the line is moving because of some perceived bump because the Jets fired Robert Salah. I think the Jets fired the wrong guy. That offensive coordinator is still there. I heard that they took away his play calling duties. I'd like to get his job for a week. I don't know what he does if he's not calling plays, but the Jets are a pretty sharp side on Monday Night Football. I got the Jets in my pick 5. Did you just copy my picks? Is that what we just have the same 5 submissions?
No, it's just very difficult to find 5 games that I actually care about or like in this league. My best bet is the Packers, so I was not very happy to hear that you guys are going to need the Cardinals this morning. Ultimately, how bad are you guys going to need the Browns? That's what I'm really scared about is our survivor pick with the Eagles.
Yeah, I'll say this right now, the money is pretty even on that game unless you're looking at the money line parlays. If you're just looking at the point spread, Cleveland +8.5, Philadelphia -8.5, it's pretty even. There's not a big decision there, but when you go over to that money line column and you start looking at the parlays, which I have to do, unfortunately, that's such a big part of our day on Sundays, Cleveland outright would kill all these parlays. We talked about Baltimore is in a lot of these parlays. Houston is in all these parlays. Cleveland, if they were to win the game, I don't know what would happen to Kelly. I don't know what happened to our girl Kelly, folks. We don't want that to happen, but we definitely would see a lot of money line parlays at the WestGate. So that could be your consolation, Kelly. If we lose our survivor pick, but a lot of money line parlays go up in flames here, you'd be happy for us.
Oh, yes, of course. I'm always happy for those bookmakers, those poor and destitute guys that get 11 every time that I bet 10.
Well, we don't get 11 here at the WestGate. We get 10.8. So
Very
let's
good
be
point.
fair. Let's call a spade here.
-108 on all NFL sides this football season over at the WestGate. John Murray, anything else you have to report? Can we get a little pug action so we can get some dogs barking today?
Yeah, I can get the pug in here. He's in the middle of chewing on a box right now, but I'll grab him here in a second. I'll say this: no move with the announcement this morning. Anthony Richardson is out. Joe Flacco is going to be the quarterback today for Indianapolis. That does nothing for the line, and Tennessee is a pretty sharp side that we've been seeing all week. I know Kelly and I have a position on Tennessee. Very well bet afternoon game is the Chargers and the Broncos. And what I mean by that is there's a ton of action both ways in that game. Right now, it looks like we'll need the Chargers for a little bit. There's a little bit more money on Denver. Denver's a hot team right now. They've somehow won 3 games in a row. Figure that out. And
yeah,
there's a lot of public support for Denver.
Yeah, let's hope it doesn't make 4 because you and I actually have the Chargers and our Splash survivor pool, even though I think you just thought it was the Titans for some reason. We flipped a coin.
No, I have the Titans in my pick 5. I know Kelly and I have a very scientific process for picking our survivor pick in that pool, Splash pool, and I do remember that we have the Chargers. I always call them San Diego. I'm kind of old-fashioned. We have the San Diego Chargers against Denver. Denver, I don't trust that quarterback. That quarterback, and I like the Charger defense. It's going to be tough sledding today for Bo Nix.
I hope so. I hope John Harbaugh has some nice play calling up his sleeve. All right, show us the pug.
That's Jim Harbaugh. That's Jim Harbaugh, Kelly. Jim Harbaugh. You're getting your Harbaughs confused. Hold on a second.
I got a lot of things confused this morning, John Murray. Just show me the damn dog because we need extra likes here on the YouTube channel this morning. And then we're going to let you get out of here.
All right, this is Super Mario. This is my pug. Look at this guy, huh? He's great. Well, hopefully we get some winners today, pal. We need the Eagles. We need the Eagles big time today. So signing off here is Super Mario. He's going to go bother the wrist guys, and we're going to watch a little football. Thanks for having us on, Kelly.
Thanks, JM. Thanks, Mario. Good luck today. Remember, guys, NFL sides -108 there at the WestGate SuperBook in Las Vegas. We got a little look behind the counter. We got Gianni the Greek coming up. And then we also have Bryan Power from WagerTalk.com. So if you guys have a question for either one of those guys, make sure you drop it in the chat. VR, are you here and are you ready to give us some of that gold?
Absolutely, Kelly. I just jumped over from the steam room where we covered all of the early action, and we're now going to cover the afternoon once I jump back on, as well as the teasers before these 1 o'clock games kick off, because the Wong teasers have been on absolute fire. In fact, it's already starting off at 1-0 today. Now, I'm on the wrong side of it. We got out ahead on a teaser. I've not bet a teaser early this season, Kelly, until this week, and it was only between both sides we were convinced we're going to move too significantly. We thought the Jacksonville side and the Eagles side. We thought the Eagles were going to get to 10. So we wanted to get those teasers in early, and I got an early Jacksonville-Philadelphia teaser in. But that was the wrong, not a bad bet, but against the close, it was a bad bet. Because when you're teasing, you want to tease when the line's its most efficient, because you're not trying to get out ahead of the number. You're not handicapping the game. You want the game to land as close to the point spread as possible. That's going to happen when the line's its most efficient, its sharpest. You're not going to beat lane 11 to 10, but if you're able to use those 6 points to tease through 3, 4, 6, 7, you will be in a plus EV situation. That's exactly what's happened. If you waited until Sunday, like I've urged, just about an hour before kickoff, half hour before kickoff, and you teased those Wong teasers, you will have gone 5-0 last week. Through week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5, you're sitting at 17-6, over 10 positions of profit, even adding in the big, at least 9.5, when all you have to do is go through those key numbers. And Chicago makes it 1-0 pretty much, because that line closed 1.5, even 2 at Circa. So you should have Chicago on a teaser if you're following the Wong style. Follow it, bet it against the close, you'll print money all year.
Be right back, because I'm currently looking for those Wong teasers in a couple of my apps here in Illinois. VR, on Wednesdays on Bet On It, you give us the early gold, what you see come across accounts. What have you seen in the past 24 hours? Anything late steam-wise?
I love it. I'm going to go real quickly down the line. A Packers game. They're on straight down. We're going to go Baltimore at -6, -6.5. You did get some resistance. You did get some Washington +7 action. I just think that's more or less taking advantage of the key number. Green Bay also sharp side on the Green Bay. Packers. Saints at +3.5 is being picked up, but there's more than enough Buccaneers money early is why we're able to still get 3.5 on the Saints. But keep this in mind. They went over 7.5 in the first quarter for the Saints game and under 10.5 in the team total first half for the Saints. So there's a lot of mixed information there. Under in the Packers being looked at, under in the Ravens being looked at, over in the Patriots +7, and the over being looked at. Philadelphia, obviously, they already got steamed all the way up. And I gave you Baltimore. Tennessee on the money line. Tennessee, obviously, they bet them as a dog. They bet them -1.5, and they got Tennessee on the money line. Detroit Lions, another side that's getting steamed, got hit at 3. Even laid some big to get the 3 on Detroit, and the under, but in the first half. Under 27 hit multiple times in the first half. Now, some quick team totals. Atlanta Falcon team total got hit the strongest. They got under first half team total bet, under 14.5, under 14, and then full game, under 27.5, under 27 on Atlanta. So not a lot of points expected from Atlanta. Does that mean Carolina's going to cover? Not too sure. Sunday night, nothing going on yet. Monday, Jets. That seems to be the sharp side. Should be able to even put it into teasers from tonight, get them up to that +8. That's pretty much what's going on, Kelly. Lot of moves, a lot of information to disseminate.
Lot of late moves. We always appreciate that. VR's hopping back over on the steam room, so you guys can catch him over there. Let people kind of know what you give out over there on the steam room every single Saturday and Sunday, VR, and then what you have up at WagerTalk.com right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it 5 straight, 5% big moves in the NFL, isolating the best bet on the board. I think we found one again for today. Goes off early. I go over every NFL game. in the steam room. So even if I don't have a premium play, someone may have a strong opinion. I want to share as much information as possible. The questions are wide open. You can ask me anything you want. And more importantly, if you're ever going to jump on next week. I'm going to have a Saturday one where I go over the entire UFC card and college football and all those first half, second halves, all that stuff. And I'm going to be on there Sunday. So next week you get 2 steam rooms, Saturday and Sunday. And just looking to do some damage, man. This is a great time to be firing.
Do some damage, wt.buzz/VR at the Greek_gambler there on all your social channels. All right, we're going to bring in Bryan Power to get some of your last minute NFL questions answered. Good morning, Mr. Power. We'll always love having you on right now. Just absolutely crushing it over at WagerTalk. Guys, if you have a question for Bryan, please drop it in the chat. Make sure that you also, give us a couple likes here. That's always fun. BP absolutely crushed Saturday. Congratulations to you. Crushing football season right now. NFL and college football up 56 units. Let's get to some of these questions, and then you can tell me what else you have going up on WagerTalk for Sunday.
Yeah, so we've got 2 NFL sides isolated. I think a lot of people, this is a tough card, Kelly. I heard you talking earlier. So we've just taken 2 sides. They're very on brand for myself. So you have been forewarned, if you are not down yet, what those sides may be. Yesterday, you mentioned it, Kelly. It was an unbelievable Saturday. A lot of positive. Look, I think a little bit of humility goes a long way in this industry sometimes. The late variants went our way on Saturday. We had a late touchdown for Kent State, a late touchdown for Rice, a late touchdown for Georgia Southern. That comeback Georgia Southern pulled off a game no one was watching while Ohio State and Oregon was going on was absolutely incredible. So it was a 4-0 sweep. Iowa was very easy to start the day. So we're 33-14 with all plays, NFL and college this year. That's 70%. 2 NFL sides. I'm 10-3 with NFL sides so far this season. So very excited about Sunday and very excited to answer some of these questions.
That's awesome. I had a couple games not get to go my way yesterday. North Carolina, most notably, was pretty disgusting, as well as Kansas State late there in the fourth quarter. So it's kind of the way the cookie crumbles. I'm glad you had some bounces go your way. Guys, if you have a question for BP, drop it in the chat. Here we go. What is your dogs? What are your dogs, folks? Titan CT. Now this is, or maybe they're cats. I don't know what they are. They're dogs. It's hard to tell. BP is frozen that way now. By the way, Titan CT, we've learned it is not Chris Thurston's burner account, even though that was what was previously argued about. That being said, any dogs you're looking at today, BP, that could win outright?
Yeah, for a second, I thought that was weird that it was a Titan CT, and obviously we love Chris Thurston. We know Chris Thurston, but trust me, there's no – CT would give it away if it was a burner, and I figured out pretty quickly it wasn't. So different people. Look, there's a lot of dogs I'm looking at. Look, you looked up and down this board here on the WagerTalk Live odds screen. It's a lot of road favorites, and you and I have one thing in common. We don't like road favorites, do we? So some underdogs I was looking at. These are going to be unpopular. Look, I think there's value in this Tampa Bay New Orleans game now. I heard VR talk about it earlier. Man, that is a big line move. I get that Derek Carr is out. I don't think the move necessarily to Spencer Rattler is, first of all, I'm glad it's Rattler and not Jake Haener. I don't think necessarily that the line should have moved the way it did. I mean, we had a look-ahead line here of New Orleans -2.5. So this thing's moved 6 points based on the quarterback change. It was week 2. My clients remember this. I said it was an overreaction with Jordan Love down to Malik Willis. Green Bay dominated that game at home. So that was an interesting thing that caught my eye. Other than that, I think Dallas, to be honest, I mean, that's going to be a heavily bet game. If you can get the 3.5, I see DK is still hanging. That's, of course, DraftKings is hanging 3.5 with Dallas. I would take that. I know that the Cowboys are dealing with those defensive injuries, Kelly, but I can't get to this number. And I know Detroit's off a bye. I get it. Dan Campbell covers all the time. I don't think the Lions, should be laying more than a field goal in Jerry World. This is the first time. On the road. First time Dak Prescott has been a home underdog of 3 or more since 2018. That's a long time. I had no gray hair in 2018.
Right. Yes, of course. Charles Canton wants to know what you think about the Texans-Patriots game. Man, the Patriots, are they really going to usher Drake May out there and just make him the sacrificial lamb today?
Look, I'm going to say this. I'm not sold on the Houston Texans, Kelly. This is a 4-1 team with, I think, a negative 12 year-to-date point differential. All of their wins are close. Now, this could very well be a spot where they get right, okay, and, they win big, and the point differential then kind of matches up with the record. But I don't know. Nico Collins, NFL's leading wide receiver, he's out. So we'll see what happens here. I admit it's a little stinky if you want to take the Patriots. They're really throwing Drake May to the Wolves here. No Stevenson at running back. But look, I agree with the move. I saw a lot of chatter on social media when the move was announced, Kelly, initially. Oh my God, Houston's pass rush. They're going to eat May alive. Well, Jacoby Brissett is a statue. What was he going to do to avoid the pass rush? And I just think look, with Drake May, you're betting into variance. It could go really bad, or who knows? Drake May could be really good. He is, the top 2 picks so far in the draft this year. Caleb Williams and Jane Daniels were really good. Who was the number 3 pick in that draft? Drake May. Do I think Drake May is as good as those other 2 guys? No, I don't. But maybe he plays well enough to keep this within 1 possession.
Maybe, or maybe he throws 3 picks. You never know. That's why I don't like usually betting on rookie quarterbacks in their debut. Lauren Dorian. All right. I can't read this morning. Do you guys like the Broncos? No, I do not like the Broncos here. If you guys watched Bet on It this week, Teddy Covers went in pretty extensively on why it's time to sell the Broncos. Brian Power, do you agree with that sentiment?
Yes. Last Sunday, Kelly, I released my first NFL 5% max bet of the season. It was on the Denver Broncos. They won big. It was a very phony final. Okay. I had actually some clients who like to DM me a lot on Twitter. I to a couple of them early in the game. I said, guys, this was the wrong read. 2 seconds later, Surtain returned the ball 103 yards for a touchdown. Game completely flipped. Denver was outgained, even though they won that game by double digits. I agree with what Teddy said on Bet on It earlier this week. This is probably the time to sell on Denver. Chargers off a bye. I wouldn't, if you do like Denver, making them a part of a teaser, 3-9, that's not the traditional Wong, but teams go for 2 more nowadays. So I wouldn't hate that. I mean, look at the total for this game, Kelly. 35.5. Typically, when you tease, you want to do it in games with low totals. And, it doesn't get much lower than 35.5 in the year 2024.
I, too, was on the Denver Broncos last week, and I will take any of those types of wins that go my way at this point in time, Brian Power. If you guys have a question, we've got about 5 more minutes before we're going to get out of here. Pitts and Ravens today. Look, I gave out the Commanders BP as the barking dog. I said, look, if you want to, by all intents and purposes, say that the Commanders are square, I agreed. On Wednesday, I said, hey, they're going to be super square for obvious reasons. Yeah. But this is not a Ravens team that I fully trust yet. They might be one of the best teams in the NFL, but they still are without faults, and they somehow love to take their foot off the gas. Your opinion on the Ravens today? John Murray said, hey, Ravens money line is going to be in a lot of parlays. We'd rather just have them cover if they're going to win or lose outright.
Yeah, I would not lay it with Baltimore here because the defense is the big question mark. Obviously, they lose Mike McDonald, now the head coach in Seattle. And what can Washington do, Kelly? They can score. The Washington Commanders are going to win the NFC East this year, guys. Book it. Write it down right now. They're going to win the division. Now, I don't know if they're going to win this football game. Unfortunately, this will, yes, I know Philly fans are booing me right now in the headphones, but unfortunately for John Murray, I would, and it's not a traditional, I know sharps say, you're not teasing through 7, but Baltimore, teasing them down to 1, I think there's probably worse options this year. That's what I would do. I do think the Ravens win this game, but I would not lay it because I'm very scared about this defense, which gave up like 800 yards to Cincinnati last week, going against a red-hot Commanders offense led by rookie quarterback Jaden Daniels. And with the Steelers, I saw the Steelers were part of that question as well. I am all out. I wouldn't lay 3 with the Steelers on the road, but at the same time, the Las Vegas Raiders don't think. The Las Vegas Raiders don't do anything well. The fact that they have 2 wins is it's head-scratching. I don't understand how they've won 2 games. They have no quarterback. They can't run the ball. Their top receiver quit on them, and they're poorly coached. Other than that, it's a very fine operation in Las Vegas.
We've got a question from Twitter, and Dustin wants to talk survivor picks. Other than Philadelphia, Houston, I'll just answer that one really quick before I get to Tony Perez on X. I did the Chargers with John Murray in our splash. That's a different format. You have double picks weeks 12 through 18. So you want to save some of the best teams. And we ended up doing Philadelphia in the circuit contest. But man, Chargers, I'm trying to find these like small dogs. Last week we used the Broncos. The week before, I'm trying to think of who we used. We've already used the Jets. We've already used the Commanders. So it's just a different type of pool. In terms of how you want to do it. But man, I had to take the easy cheese with the Eagles. I don't think there's a better spot to use them unless you want to argue week 14. BP, Tony Perez at Raider T Perez wants to know, the Carolina line has not moved. I really wanted a 7. Am I being greedy? I don't think we're going to get a 7 for obvious reasons, BP, but Marco D'Angelo gave out this as his trap game. Your thoughts on the Falcons-Panthers game?
Yeah, it would be Panthers or pass for me on that, obviously. I mean, when you see anyone who knows my picks, you're never getting a 6-point road favorite for me, ever. So if you force me to make a play on this game, it's going to be Carolina. I also would look at the under. I'd punch back at the market a little bit on that total. I know, I tweeted, I had Atlanta last week against Tampa Bay. What a come-from-behind win that was. Kirk Cousins throws for over 500 yards. I tweeted immediately after. I don't know if the Falcons are any good, but I think Kirk Cousins is great. Still, though, this is an outdoor game. Now, the Falcons have been winning they've been living dangerously, Kelly. I know you've been seeing these close calls. Every game comes down to the end for the Falcons, so I would certainly not be in a rush to lay this amount of points with Atlanta. The Carolina offense, I don't know. I had them the first week with Dalton against the Raiders. They look great. Since then, they've come back down to earth. So I don't know. Maybe since obviously I wouldn't want to lay the 6, and I kind of lean up. Maybe Atlanta team total under here. Maybe if you want to zero in, get creative, maybe that's the play to make. And also for the survivor question that the commenter asked, another small favorite outside the box if you're looking to do something that's not everyone else is doing. Tennessee would be an option, I think, for me. I on the Power 5, I gave out Titans money line against the Colts. I think the Titans absolutely win that AFC South game today.
Yeah, I'd like to think so too, but I bet on the Titans twice with Will Levis, and it hasn't worked out for me very well.
He's not good.
John and I went back and forth. Are we going to use the Titans or are we going to use the Chargers in Splash? And ultimately, I flipped a coin. I was like, I cannot actively choose to take the Titans. I know that they are absolutely a possible play for today, but it terrifies the crap out of me. Brian Power, tell us what you've got over. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, what does it say about Will Levis that we would actually speak things into this microphone like Mason Rudolph might be a better option? I mean, how bad do you have to be for me to come on a fine program such as this and say those words? But it's true. But the Titans, number 1 in total defense. I'll say that. If Will Levis cannot throw stupid interceptions, the Titans could. And by the way, Joe Flacco is starting, right, for Indianapolis. He throws a lot of stupid interceptions, too. Take it from me. I watched him in Cleveland.
All right, WT.buzz/BP. Before we get to Chris Lee's question, tell me what you've got up over at WagerTalk.com, and then I'm going to let you have your way and get to talk some baseball.
Oh, I didn't know that I was going to. I didn't know that was my way. But yes, I would be glad to talk some baseball. I'd be, of course, glad to talk some football. Again, we're number 1 at Wager Talk right now with all football. 33-14 record combined in NFL and college this year. We're off a huge 4-0 sweep on Saturday. Went 2-0 in the NFL last Sunday, including that 5% winner on Denver. I've got 2 sides locked and loaded. They both go at 1 p.m. Eastern, so you've got a half hour to get down if you already haven't done so. By the way, if you want to lock in for the next 3 days, that special offer, me and Mark Zinno, our good friend, my co-host on the Morning Wager, you can get all of our plays for the next 3 days for $69. Buy one, get one free. Shout out to the Morning Wager. It's going to be a great show this week, Kelly, because it's his Yankees against my Guardians in the ALCS. Ooh. My Guardians have absolutely no chance of winning that series, but I will do my best to drum up some enthusiasm and to say things to Mark Zinno that will make him very, very angry.
Listen, the Guardians are a good baseball team. Relax. Have a little faith in them. Let's talk Dodgers Mets.
If I'm walking by Progressive Field in the middle of the week, Stephen Vogt may call me in to throw at 2 innings. Their bullpen is dead. They used 8 pitchers yesterday. They've got 16 strikeouts, which was nice, but still, 8 pitchers. It's not 1975 anymore. Baseball today, the New York Mets, they did a lot of scoring late in that series against the Philadelphia Phillies. Can they continue that? I don't know, because they're not facing the terrible Phillies bullpen anymore. And the Dodgers, they bring a 24-inning scoreless streak to this series. So my thought is for game one, initially I lean the Mets, but can you just keep scoring all these runs late? This is a crazy stat for you, Kelly. I know you don't like baseball, but you'll like this stat. 23 of the Mets' last 27 runs scored have come in the 6th inning or later. That's a lot of good luck. I don't think that continues. And I think, if Jack Flaherty can give the Dodgers a good start, the Dodgers should be in good shape. And I don't think we're going to see a lot of runs tonight in game one. A traditional East versus West matchup in the LCS.
All right. He is Bryan Power. Oh, we got one more question. Hunter Gray, Bengals, 3.5 with neighbors out. Feels like I don't use L words. No L words on this show. Must win for sense.
No. That's a good way to for me to drop you right out of a group text when you say this is a lock. I hate this game. I'm not playing the Sunday night game. I am convinced that the Bengals are winning a close game. You look at their losses this year, Kelly, all of them are close. I think they're winning this game. But laying 3.5 just seems foolish. This was about an hour and a half before I went live. I don't know if the number has changed, but you could do a money line parlay of Ravens and Bengals. It was plus 108. Maybe you do that. Maybe you find another. You just play around because, again, I think the Bengals win this game. So maybe find a dance partner and do a money line parlay. I got nothing else for you in that game. Don't want to lay 3.5 with the Bengals, a game they're going to probably win close.
It's really funny because I didn't even ask John Murray about the Sunday night football game because that's how ugly that game looks. You guys, he is Bryan Power. You guys can catch him on the Morning Wager on the WagerTalk YouTube channel with our good friend Mark Zeno. You can also find him at Bryan Power _wins on social media. Thank you to Bryan for coming in. Thank you to the Greek Gambler, Yanni. And of course, thank you to my good friend John Murray for giving us a look behind the counter there at the WestGate. Have a happy and profitable Sunday, guys. I got a 20-hour head of drive of me. I can't even talk already. 20-hour drive ahead of me. Wow. On my way back to Florida. But we will see you guys Wednesday here on the WagerTalk YouTube channel for a new edition of Bet On It. Until then, we'll see you guys.